The Indiana Fever beat the LA Sparks 111-87 Saturday night. Biggest margin of victory all season. 4 players in double figures, 55% shooting, a 35-point lead at one point. On paper, it looks dominant, but nobody's talking about the box score, and you already know why. Gainbridge Fieldhouse, primetime CBS, and thousands of empty seats staring back at the cameras. Fans didn't just stay home. They made a calculated, coordinated statement. The WNBA thought one night without Caitlin Clark was survivable. The empty seats and crashing ticket prices say otherwise. Let's start with the tickets because that's where the story actually begins. Hours before tip-off, seats across every section of Gainbridge Fieldhouse were still available. Not a few stragglers here, and there are thousands of them all over the building.
You can see, the entire arena is up for sale. For sale by owner, 2 tickets for a make-believe basketball game featuring a collection of unknown players who go unrecognized at family reunions. The cheapest seats for this instant classic are selling for $16. Seats in the lower bowl are selling for less than $100.
Let the cheapest entry point drop to $5. Floor seats, seats that regularly move for $100 to $200 on a normal Clark game night, were going for $16. The market didn't gradually soften. It collapsed the moment Clark was ruled out, and it collapsed fast. Game photos told the rest of the story. Upper deck sections sitting completely empty.
I'm afraid the boycott will be fully operational when your game arrives. Yeah, full-on dark side, Emperor Palpatine action, Return of the Jedi, Return of the Fandom, Revenge of the Fandom. It's bad news across every single Indiana Fever social media post that's being put out there.
Wide shots of the lower bowl with entire rows of vacant seats. One video circulating before tip-off showed the arena looking more like a midweek preseason game than a primetime national broadcast. People saw it. They shared it, and the comments sections on every Fever post that night turned into a referendum. The official attendance came in at 16,000. But multiple people who were inside the building that night noted that most seats didn't fill until well into the game, and some sections never filled at all. So even that number needs context. There's a difference between tickets sold and people actually sitting in chairs watching basketball. And Saturday night exposed that gap in real time, which means fans who had tickets didn't even show up, and those that wanted to resell them couldn't find any buyers now. The Fever's social media team made things significantly worse for themselves. The same day.
This does not look good. This does not look good. You can see empty seats all over the place. All over the place. The upper deck is completely, you see these seats up here completely empty. Completely empty up here. Barely any people up here. I mean, it's empty seats all over the place, man. You could spot a nickel on the floor. Bad. Look at it. This whole section. This whole section is empty. The entire section is empty.
Clark was ruled out. They posted a calling all Gamecocks promotion, pushing an exclusive South Carolina hat for fans who bought tickets to the Sparks game. The timing was almost impressively bad. The comments section didn't just push back. It detonated. Fans flooded every post the Fever put out that night. Not watching, no CC, no party, first game in 3 seasons, I won't watch.
It's empty, empty. I mean, this is just one shot. I mean, it looks really, really bad. It looks like the damage has been done, and the fans have stood up and said enough is enough. Okay, it looks like the fans said enough's enough, man. We're not showing up for this. We got other angles, yo. And it says this is just 5 minutes before tip-off. And here it says the fans are tired and want the Indiana Fever to step up better and protect Caitlin.
One fan wrote that they were filing their own injury report for Saturday, ruled out, no return timetable. That one got shared everywhere. And these weren't trolls or casual observers. These were the people who'd been showing up since Clark arrived. The ones who turned a franchise that used to draw 4,000 fans on a good night into a consistent sellout operation. These were Clark's core audience, and they were done. The important thing to understand is that this wasn't random frustration. It was organized. Fans explicitly called for a TV blackout alongside the arena boycott because they understood exactly where the WNBA feels financial pain. And it isn't parking revenue or concession sales. It's the broadcast numbers. It's the ratings that networks report back to league offices.
The big story here is, did you see how empty the damn gym was? Did you see how empty this arena was? It looks like Caitlin Clark fans have taken a stand after all and have refused to show up to the Indiana Fever.
They targeted both simultaneously: don't show up to the game, don't turn on CBS. Hit them in the arena and hit them on the dial. That's not an emotional reaction. That's a strategy. The Fever, to their credit, eventually acknowledged the Alyssa Thomas situation through team president Kelly Krauskopf, who put out a brief statement commending the league for eventually getting it right and saying the organization's focus was on getting Clark healthy. It was fine. It was also about 2 days too late to stop the bleeding. The empty seats were the visible damage. The ticket prices were the financial damage. And the ratings, which haven't dropped yet. That's where this story gets its real final number. 2 years ago, the average resale ticket to a Caitlin Clark game was sitting around $200.
Man, if a CBS game has less than 1 million viewers for a Fever game, it's going to be a hell of a statement.
$400. People were treating Fever tickets like concert seats for a stadium tour, something you grabbed early and held on to. Saturday night, floor seats went for $16. That's not a market correction. That's a market sending a message in the clearest language it knows, and the timing could not have been worse for the league because this wasn't some random Tuesday night game on a regional sports network. This was primetime CBS national broadcast, the biggest possible stage the WNBA has access to. If you're going to have a ratings disaster, that's the worst place to have it because everyone's watching the numbers. The advertisers, the network executives, the people who will eventually sit across the table and negotiate the next media rights deal. Christine Brennan at USA Today reported before the game that analysts were projecting a 50% ratings decline without Clark on the floor.
The Great White Hope is still, without a doubt, the biggest draw in this league, at least on television. Unlike the rest of the pretenders in the WNBA, people are not telling Caitlin Clark to get off my TV. Last week, in her game against the Atlanta Dreamers, Caitlin Clark drew over 800,000 viewers on Amazon Prime. Uncle KC, that wasn't Caitlin Clark, that was Angel Reese. My Angel is a huge star.
50% on a CBS primetime game. That's not a dip, that's a crater. And if those projections hold when the actual numbers come out, the WNBA can't frame it as a one-off. Broadcasters don't care about context. They care about what happens to their numbers when the draw isn't available, because that's the risk they're pricing into every future deal. This is the part that gets lost when people focus on the attendance photos. The real money in professional sports isn't gate revenue. It's the media rights contract. That's where leagues make or break their financial future. The NBA's current deal is worth billions annually precisely because their ratings hold up regardless of who's healthy on a given night. The WNBA just showed a network that their numbers are essentially one player deep.
Will go down in history like Bud Light if you screw this up. Woo-wee! Not Bud Light. Got to be more careful.
Don't just skip the building, skip the broadcast. One fan compared it directly to Bud Light, and that comparison isn't dramatic. The Bud Light situation worked because it was coordinated consumer withdrawal aimed precisely at the revenue stream, not just the product. Clark's fan base did the same thing Saturday night, except they had two targets: the Fever's gate revenue and the WNBA's broadcast revenue hit simultaneously. The salary cap context makes this even harder to ignore. The new CBA that went into effect this season pushed the team's salary cap from $1.5 million to $7 million, a 367% jump. Player salaries went up an average of 356% across the board. That raise didn't come from nowhere. It came from the revenue growth the league experienced over the past 2 seasons.
Hey, great job. I'm really proud of you. It was nice to not sweat one out, right? It was nice to come in and to have high energy, right? To play together, to continue to build on a lead. Ty? It's the ultimate, I hope you understand it's the ultimate compliment that we can trust you to start you in a game and to play you these kind of minutes and to know that you're going to show up.
Growth that is directly tied to Clark's arrival, the ratings she brought, and the media attention that followed her from Iowa to Indianapolis. Empty arenas and tanking ratings don't just hurt the league's image. They undercut the financial foundation that those raises were built on. The players who benefit most from the new CBA should be paying close attention to what happens when the building is half empty on a Saturday night in prime time, because the money that funds their contracts doesn't appear out of thin air. The WNBA begged for mainstream attention for decades. They got it, and right now they're watching it walk out the door in real time, one empty seat at a time, so the arena was half empty. The tickets were selling for the price of a fast food combo. And the ratings were headed somewhere nobody at WNBA headquarters wants to talk about. And while all of that was happening, Stephanie White was in the locker room getting choked up over Ty Harris. Watch the post-game footage.
She's crying over Ty Harris? Dude. She's crying over Ty Harris playing in a basketball game and doing well. Stephanie White is crying over that. Folks, last year she was crying over Kelsey Mitchell saving her job against a trash Connecticut Sun team, and this year she's crying watching Ty Harris play basketball. Stephanie White is emotionally unstable.
Praising Harris for having a career high as she started in place of Caitlin Clark against a team that just allowed Marina Mabrey to drop 53 points on them a few nights before. She's telling Harris it's the ultimate compliment that the team can trust her, that she knew she'd show up. The locker room is loud. White is beaming. She looks like a coach who just won a playoff series, not someone who held a 35-point lead over one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Fans clipped it within minutes. And they didn't just share it, they stacked it directly against every strained, reluctant group project compliment White has ever offered Caitlin Clark in front of a microphone. One fan nailed it: a kind word for Caitlin Clark takes a prepared speech and a hostage video. That line spread because it's accurate. When White praises Clark, it sounds like she's reading terms and conditions. When she talks about Ty Harris after a blowout win over the Sparks, she's fighting back tears. That contrast is hard to explain away.
This is absolutely disgusting. Stephanie White wept at the performance of Ty Harris. A kind word for Caitlin Clark takes a prepared speech, and a hostage video trade Caitlin now. Yeah, I mean, for Stephanie White to say a couple of nice things about Caitlin Clark, you have to have the fan base go off on her and go crazy and lose it. And she needs to be pretty much forced to say some nice words about CC22.
And White didn't do herself any favors in the post-game press conference. A reporter asked her about the 4 former South Carolina players on the roster: Aaliyah Boston, Raven Johnson, Bree Hull, Ty Harris, and White lit up. She talked about their chemistry, their communication, how they can hold each other accountable in ways other players can't. She said sometimes she forgets they all came from the same program until they break into a Gamecocks cheer in the locker room. She talked about that group like someone who built something and wants to keep building it, which would be fine, except she's supposed to be building around a 2-time All-Star who's averaging career highs across every statistical category. The presser also had this line: the team played with joy. They were connected. They celebrated each other. The implication, whether White intended it or not, is that Caitlin Clark's presence disrupts that.
Look at this freeze frame, folks. Look at this. Bruh. We're crying over Ty Harris, dude. Folks, we're crying over Ty Harris. We're crying over a 30-point blowout win against a trash Los Angeles Sparks team.
Pressure, attention, maybe friction, and that without her, the team can just breathe and play. That's a dangerous thing to suggest publicly when your fan base just boycotted your nationally televised game because they believe the organization doesn't fully support its franchise player. And now, let's be direct about the actual basketball because context matters here. The Fever beat the same LA Sparks who had just allowed 110-plus points in back-to-back games before Saturday. The same Sparks playing without Kelsey Plum, their leading scorer at 23 points per game, and without Cameron Brink. The same franchise that Mabry went for 53 on. This was not a measuring stick. This was not a statement win. This was the Fever doing exactly what any team with a pulse should do against a depleted, demoralized opponent on a bad road trip.
But the only thing that stays the same is, oh, I love Kelsey Mitchell. That stays the same. But when it comes to Caitlin Clark, it's like a bipolar type relationship. She's just sitting there holding a rose. She loves me. Well, I love her. I love her not. I love her. I love her not. It's get Caitlin Clark away from this toxic individual, please.
White's celebration of this performance, the tears, the speeches, the South Carolina pipeline talk. Reads like someone who got exactly the game they wanted. No Clark, no chaos, no complicated offensive ecosystem to manage. Just her guys running her system, beating a bad team by 30, and she loved every second of it. The fans noticed. They've been noticing all season. And the fact that White chose this moment, this game, this night of empty seats and crashing ticket prices to show more visible emotion than she's shown all year. That's not a good look when your star player is home with a back injury she got because a fist connected with her throat. The Sporting News ran a piece after Saturday's game with this headline: the Fever's 2 wins without Caitlin Clark contain one startling truth. The truth they're referring to is that Indiana's defense tightens when Clark sits. The argument is that in 2 games without her, the Fever held opponents to an average of 80 points and won both by double digits. Let's talk about who those opponents were. Game 1 without Clark, the Portland Fire, a team sitting near the bottom of the league in offensive efficiency. Game 2, the LA Sparks, who came into Saturday having already surrendered 110-plus points on back-to-back nights, missing their best player, and playing the second game of a road back-to-back. That's not a sample size. That's cherry-picked matchups dressed up as a pattern. Clark's 2026 numbers are 21.2 points, 8.2 assists, and 4.0 rebounds per game, career bests across points, assists, and even key defensive metrics. She's running the offense, generating shots for everyone around her, and doing it against full rosters. The Fever went 11 wins, 8 losses with her in the lineup and had the offensive firepower to stay competitive against contenders. Without her, they've beaten the 2 weakest defensive teams on their schedule. The quarterback analogy is the cleanest way to frame it. Nobody says Patrick Mahomes is actually better when he only plays against backup secondaries. You judge a player against the full range of competition, not the 2 worst defenses they happen to face while resting. The media knows this. They're choosing to frame it the other way because it's a better story, and better stories get clicks. To be fair about Saturday specifically, the Fever genuinely showed depth. Kelsey Mitchell's 26 points on efficient shooting was real. Aaliyah Boston's 17 points in 21 minutes was impressive efficiency. Ty Harris earned her minutes with a season-high 16. That depth is real and it matters for a playoff run. But depth performing well against a depleted opponent isn't a referendum on Clark's value. It's a team doing what it's supposed to do on a good matchup. Those 2 things aren't contradictory, and conflating them is exactly what the better without her crowd is banking on you not noticing. Clark has over a week before the Las Vegas road trip, and the timing of this break matters. The back injury that kept her out Saturday traces directly to the Alyssa Thomas flagrant 2, a fist to the throat that the league initially missed entirely and only upgraded after public outcry forced a review. The 1-game suspension Thomas received landed on a fan base that was already at the wall. 1 game for a fist to the throat. The math on that didn't sit right with anyone who watched the replay. The Fever won the game. The WNBA lost the room.